We have some big breaking news coming in right now that we want to provide you more clarity on. You know about the Uniform Civil Code that the BJP has talked about introducing in multiple states. Now I believe a law commission has been appointed. The former Karnataka HC Chief Justice Rituraj Awasthi has been appointed chairman of the law commission. Remember, this justice was in headlines for his verdict in the Karnataka hijab row. Particularly important to note over here. Let's go over to my colleague Ananya right now. Ananya, two questions. Clarity first, please, for our audiences on what the Uniform Civil Code is. Then tell us what this move, the centre appointing a law commission, could potentially mean.
Well, the central government has appointed the Law Commission of India at this moment of time. And remember that Rituraj Awasthi, former judge of the Kerala High Court, in fact, former Chief Justice of the Karnataka High Court, has been appointed as the chairman of the Law Commission of India. And remember that there have been a lot of recommendations and there was a need of the use, in fact, the Law Commission for last 4 years. And we'll see that there are a lot of laws which actually require contention by the Law Commission. And that's the reason why, in fact, almost after 4 years of vacancies, almost after 4 years of, in fact, non-appointment today, the appointment is coming. Mr. Rituraj Awasthi has been appointed as the chairperson of, in fact, the Law Commission, and in fact the other members who are there are in fact Justice K.T. Sankaran, Professor Anand Paliwal, Professor D.P. Verma, Professor Raka Arya, and Karuna Nithi as members of the committee have also been appointed. So a lot of laws are actually have to be relooked by, in fact, the Law Commission. And in fact, as you remember, not only about the UCC, but then also the sedition law, if we remember, that the central government had said that it would be before the Law Commission as well, because the central government is trying to, in fact, go away with these colonial laws which had been there in the constitution for a very long time and were very, very colonial in nature. So we'll see as to what happens and how the Law Commission...
Ananya, one second. Ananya, I just want to clarify something from you. Quickly, let's just tell our audiences, a UCC, if brought in, would provide one law for the entire country applicable to all religious communities. Now, Ananya, tell us, we're sharing this news with our audiences by saying that this is big news for the UCC. The fact that this judge has been appointed is big news for UCC in particular. What's the context there when we say that?
Well, you see, Rituraj Awasthi had been one of the judges in the Karnataka hijab row, and in fact, he is somebody who knows the law very well. So we might see that there's something coming on UCC in this particular aspect, and we might see that Uniform Civil Code is being, and we see how it's being discussed for a very long time. But at the same point of time, the Law Commission would also go into it. And there have been a lot of recommendations by not only the High Courts, but also the Supreme Court, that the Law Commission of India shall actually look into the whole UCC pattern. And now we'll see as to whether, in fact, the central government too, when it was responding to the petitions seeking a uniform civil code in the country before the Supreme Court, had said that it's a matter that would be studied by the Law Commission of India. It's a matter that has to be looked into by the Law Commission of India, and somewhere or the other, this might be a stepping stone for the UCC in the country, because it is only the Law Commission of India who would be studying all of these personal laws and would be looking into as to how...
Ananya, just stay with us. Shankar Yanagi from the Congress is with us right now. Sir, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on the show. Sir, your reaction to this news?
Justice Rituraj Awasthi was the presiding judge in respect of the hijab matter. We have already seen as to what he has expressed in the matter. And now his views may not be so secular, even though it is a judicial opinion. It does not sound to be secular. That is what was one of the allegations made across the bar. And now he has been made as the chairman of the Law Commission. Maybe the central government or the BJP government want to push its agenda about the reformation of laws or to change the laws according to its requirement to push the Hindutva agenda and RSS agenda. That could be one of the reasons. But anyway, as such, about the integrity of Justice Rituraj Awasthi, there is no doubt about it. But through him, the central government may try to influence or may try to use his official position to push its agenda in the reformation of laws. That is what is the apprehension which we have.
Okay, let me very quickly ask you here, please. We've just shared with our audiences what the UCC was, what the demand for UCC was, and there's been much criticism. As we've seen in the last few weeks, multiple BJP-led states join the list of those states that would say they'd implement the UCC. What has the criticism for the UCC been? We've seen multiple minorities come forward and voice their fears. Could you tell us more?
So insofar as that, I may not be the right person to comment because it is still under the discussion from our High Command. And we have to take a particular stand on that, looking at the intention of the legislation and also the intention of the government.
Has the Congress, all right, sir, so let me just check with you. So the Congress has not in the last few weeks or the last few months made any open statements on the introduction of the UCC anywhere in the country?
No, there may be some statement individually by the Congress leaders, but those were in their individual capacity, but not as the party representative or the party functionary. But as such, we need to look into that we have to study that in detail based on how the government want to push it forward. If the UCP is for some other reason to push its own agenda, then certainly it will affect the secularity of the state. And in that case, we may have to oppose it, and we will oppose it. And if it is not, then we will reconsider as to what extent it needs to be supported or what extent it need not be.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
In the best interest of the country.
Thank you so much for bringing us that perspective. All